Hi, I'm Crystal with As I Am Media, and I'm here with
Ashley
Jeemin.
So can you tell me a little bit about what you both do?
Yeah, sure. I'm an intern here for JCCC, so I'm here as a missionary, student movement specifically, and I'm a campus missionary.
So I am a second year intern. Right now I'm working with digital strategies. And last year I was on campus doing similar work like Ashley does, but I was in Kyoto.
Are you guys allowed to do outreach on campus? Like, what is it like?
So my team, or me specifically, we've come to this campus maybe once. But in general, I think a lot of students are very open to speaking to you, especially because we're from America. And I think we've been using the fact that we're from New York City, wow, very powerfully, and being we want to practice our Japanese, and being oh, can you give us a tour? We're new here. So yeah, a lot of students are very open actually to meeting with us and talking with us.
I would say the atmosphere feels like people, if you talk with them, if you want to talk with them and are very direct and say you want to talk about religion or Christianity, I think you can get pretty mixed responses. I think if you're trying to build relationships, people are very open to the fact that especially if you're on a campus that has international studies or something, there's a lot of people that want to meet international people who speak English, and so those people are really open to building relationships.
So do you both speak Japanese?
No.
That's a lie.
Can you share anything in Japanese?
Konnichiwa. Ashley desu. 22歳です。よろしくお願いします。
Jimin desu. よろしくお願いします。
What's your favorite part about working with students and working in this kind of space of ministry?
All throughout my university, I worked really closely with college ministries, and I started to really take my faith seriously because of a college campus ministry as well. So I have a really big heart just in general for the college students.
They're asking a lot of big questions or thinking about the future, and so I think I enjoy that I can be a part of that, because for me that's when I was in those places, I was so confused.
What's the difference between Japanese university and American university?
At least the college I went to and a lot of colleges in the States, people live on dorms, or they'll live around the university. But in Japan, a lot of people commute. Longest I've heard is probably 2-3 hour commutes, and so people commute one way 2-3 hours and then commute back.
I think that's the biggest surprise our team has had too. Trying to make appointments, but then students are oh, but I gotta go home. I live super far.
Do they still live with their parents, their families too?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Even after college, they might still live at home, work a job that they can commute. And so I think they do achieve independence at a different age, and so college students do feel very different.
Can you share a little bit about why Japan for you particularly, both of you?
We have similar stories. So originally I had gone on a vision trip to Thailand, and so I had a heart for Southeast Asia. So I applied, and then the organization I was working with, they only sent to Japan. And so I had heard a lot about it. I had never really experienced or been to Japan, so there was a lot of curiosity there.
I actually also wanted to go to Southeast Asia, or Vietnam specifically. With communication and team-wise, it just didn't end up working out. So they combined us with the Japan team. Even though I didn't want to be here, I think God is opening my heart and oh, there's a reason why I'm here. And He's growing my heart for the people of Japan more and more as I'm living here.
Following up with that, how do you start conversations and make connections with people?
I use the fact that I don't know Japanese as my strong suit. And I'm please help me. Oh, where's the cafeteria? Or can you help me order food?
Honestly, I would say I don't really know what works. Last year when I was on campus, we would use different tools that we had. It was hard to engage with them, especially with the language barrier. It will take a lot more learning the language and just understanding the culture before I can say that I'm like, oh, I know how to like talk to Japanese people. I know how to engage them well.
Is there like a particular person or a story that you can share?
It's like usually like you don't really see people come to faith. You don't really see people make those like big steps. Like it takes a long time to get there. It takes a couple years. But last year like there's a student. He was connected through another Christian student we had met through flyering. And so out of like 3,000 students, he was the only one that responded to our flyer at the school. I just remember like trying to talk to him and being like, how do I like talk to him about Jesus? Like, how do I like do this in a way that's like not so awkward, but like can really, like I can really see where he's at and like really start to ask some like hard questions. And then like out of nowhere, like one of my teammates, like he goes like biking with him and he's talking about like, he's like, yeah, I'm thinking about getting baptized. And then we were just like wait, what's happening? Later on, like I invited him to our church at Easter and I just got to hear more of his story. And he's saying like, yeah, like I just think God has been working in my life like since I was like a baby in Germany. Like it's so hard for Japanese students to come to faith because of so many of the barriers, but because he had been born and grew up in Germany, like a lot of those barriers weren't there. I look back and I'm like I didn't do anything. And then this guy like comes to faith and later on he's just saying like, he's like, if it wasn't for like you guys in like student impact in our organization, like he's like, yeah, I can say with confidence that I would not have come to faith. And just seeing like other believers, like just seeing people that were Christian made it more possible for him.
Mine isn't like a specific student, but I think when I first came to Japan, like I had a really hard time adjusting. Just like the spiritual climate here is very like hard, just because the Japanese people worship so many gods. But then something that really like struck my heart and really like made me see like how powerfully God is moving is like our Friday meetings. And I think with like the Christian students that come out to those Friday meetings, like I was really able to see like how differently they live their lives comparative to the normal Japanese person.
Can you explain how different?
Yeah, I think it's like the Japanese culture, like they want everyone to be the same. My organization always talks about how like the Japanese culture always wants to hammer down the one nail sticking out. The first couple of weeks I really felt that here of like everyone wants to be the same, like everyone wants to do the same thing. Everyone's very like wary of their surroundings and of other people. But then when I stepped into student impact, like just seeing how the students worship and like how they seem so happy, I was really able to see that like it doesn't matter how much like society tries to like hammer them down, like the nail that they are is never going to go down. And like in such a like silent country, they're not afraid to like be loud and like be people that are like worshiping God like proudly or like showing that they are Christians proudly, even though they may not be like part of the majority. They are completely okay and content and happy being different from other people. It challenged me a lot of like, what am I doing? Like in America, it's not like you don't get persecuted for being Christian, but they're here like so gung-ho for God.
You guys are both Asian American, right? Yes. So being here in Japan, like, is it confusing for you? Like, are there any funny stories?
Like we look Asian and so we don't stand out too much, but we still have our American identity, which can be very like attractive to Japanese people, like internationally minded Japanese people. And so I think I've seen that as like a huge plus.
Like a lot of Japanese students speak Korean, and they speak Korean better than they speak English. So like being able to use Korean like that is also very like useful. And like my mom is also very like happy that I'm practicing Korean.
Like I have such a ambiguous identity. Like I wish I was either like born in Korea or like I was born in America, and it's like just feels so weird. I'm like I don't fit in anywhere. But I think coming to Japan, just experiencing the way that God has made me being used by Him, and just like being able to be surrounded by so many Asian people as well, like it's just such a strange thing, like that, like oh, like I'm kind of part of like majority culture in a way now, and so I think it's strange, but also like I'm like also like oh, like I think God did create me in a specific way, and He's able to use all those parts of me, and it was not an accident. I hope.
You're definitely not an accident.
Actually, I was an accident, but that's another story.
Last question, looking ahead, like what do you hope for Japan as a country? Any advice for people who, want to share the gospel?
I think my hope is that it will not be a declining church. Like right now, Christianity is declining in Japan because the population numbers are also declining, but that it will be like something that has an upward trajectory. And so I'm confident that can happen. I think it'll be really slow, but that is my hope for the Japanese church.
Japan is such a quiet nation, but I think something that God placed on my heart a lot is that Japan would worship loudly for God. Like an image that God put in my head was like the country of Japan with like blare horns like coming out of it. And I think that's like something that God desires from Japan, like even though they're so quiet, that they wouldn't be ashamed to like be loud for God and worship God loudly and proudly. That Christianity wouldn't just stay within the Japanese culture and like the Japanese people, but that they would be so convicted that they would want to step out of their comfort zone and like leave the country to like do what me and Jimin do or do what like JCCC does, and like for them to like go and like spread. And then advice, I don't know. I don't even know what I'm doing here. Just kidding. But something that like gives me a lot of like boldness and like a lot of confidence is that God doesn't call someone that's equipped. God equips the called. God chooses to use me. God chooses to use you, and because God chooses you, God will equip you. Yeah.
Yeah, best of luck to you both in your mission and ministry. So,
Thank you.
yeah.